Hello, hello.
Howdy.
How's everybody doing?
Hi, Chris.
Hi. Look at my mask that I wore to 4-H today. Can you see what it is?
Oh, I love it.
We made oobleck.
Anyway,
Woohoo! So the kids can take it home and have it home all weekend over the snowstorm.
is it better with a
Is this your
blurry?
like town hall song, Tim?
What?
Is this your town hall song?
Yeah. Is it better with a blurry background or non-blurry?
Not blurry.
Yeah.
It's distracting.
And it makes me feel like I'm on drugs when it's blurry behind you.
Well, now that you put it that way.
So that can be good or bad, I guess.
Yeah, this is the perfect webinar music for somebody who's never heard of Wu-Tang Clan.
John, is this your last town hall?
Ooh.
Possibly.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, I would say the full exit strategy is a little still TBD, but yes, this is the last town hall before my official last day. We'll see what
John, we will miss you.
I will miss
Very
you guys.
much.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to make a group field trip up to A Basin and visit you.
I'll do
Is
it.
that where you're going, John?
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Becoming a
I
ski
was-
bum or what?
Well, I was the IT director up there for about 5 years before coming to the county. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. You know, it's old is new again.
So if I just want to like get in, I can say, hey, John told me I could come ski.
Yeah, I can get you a coupon for 25% on.
Perfect.
Back on.
No, you guys want to come up and go skiing, definitely give me a shout. We'll get you squared away.
All right. I'll come for that last day, that spring fling day.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Tim, are you wearing a tie?
Yeah, you like it?
Weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very nice tie. It's just weird seeing you with a tie. I haven't seen somebody wear a tie in a while.
Now, is that in honor of John Hamm's birthday and Mad Men and all?
Sure. No, I have far too many of them. You've sat there for far too long, so.
We need to find you at a minimum a COVID tie tack, if not a COVID tie.
This is kind of a COVID tie. I mean, it's like red.
COVID beanie.
It's COVID-esque. It goes well with the
There are
beard.
COVID ties out there right now.
How about that?
I like that word. That's so COVID-esque. I like that. That's my new word.
That better than COVID-licious?
Yes.
Definitely, John.
Oh, Chris, my friend had an idea for our dog pictures. She said we should
Okay.
make a book with all the pictures of the Clear Creek dog vaccine pictures.
Make like an actual book?
Yeah, they're easy. Just, like,
Yeah,
send
okay.
it away.
Yeah, like it's
I'm gonna make a book.
Okay, cool. And
It's like
then
a good memory of COVID.
yeah, definitely. That's good. Like a yeah, just send them to one of those companies. Those bookmaking companies that I can't think of any of the names right now. Well, when we get the big Jumbotron at the vaccine clinic, we can flash all the pictures up there.
That's a great
Kind of a
idea.
Jumbotron, lane 1, 2, 3, and then alternate dog pictures.
I was telling Suzanne that in my dream, I want like something on the other side so we can tie a wire from the building to the other side and hang lane 1, lane 2, lane 3. So we don't even have
Yeah.
to have things on the ground. But
Maybe CDOT has some leftover things that we could use that they'll recycle or something.
install like a street lamp or something.
Yeah, one of those big.
You were figuring CDOT might have some effective road signage? That's pretty good.
Perhaps, or at least the hardware. You never know unless you ask, right?
Sometimes you know.
Yeah. Isn't that a Bill Maher segment? I don't know for a fact. I just know.
Right.
Well, it was starting to snow when I left Idaho Springs. What's happened? Is it still snowing there?
It's 50
Spitting
degrees in
snow.
Boulder.
I was thinking about it.
It was
It's snowing pretty good up the top of York Gulch.
What's happening at the top of York Gulch?
Snow.
Snow, definite snow. I think it's really good.
I think we lost Chris.
We did.
Oh, she's back.
It's still warm in Boulder. It's gonna drop pretty quick though.
Well, maybe those kids can have one more big old party before it snows.
Funny, you got jokes tonight, Chris.
Yeah, I don't, it's because I was hanging out with little kids for a couple hours.
So you're blaming the kids?
I'm blaming the kids, blatantly blaming the children. Yep.
I tried to get my boyfriend to go to the party. He wouldn't go.
Have you guys seen the recent Echo Mountain forecast?
No.
Mm-mm.
Let me see if I can get this up on screen for you guys. Sorry, I'm relegated to my daughter's room right now.
What does that say?
10 to 16, 18 to 24, and 70. Wow. Yeah, the
Wait,
window.
is that per day? That's per day how much snow they're supposed to get?
That's not even per day. That is per 12-hour period.
24
Saturday-
inches per
Saturday-
hour?
Oh
I mean,
my
in the
God.
24 hour.
Not per hour. No. So Saturday day, 10 to 16. Saturday night, 18 to 24. Sunday day, 17 to 23.
Wow.
They get like 70 inches of snow.
This is gonna be like 2003. This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
About
Suzanne's in the
2003,
waiting room, John.
2011 maybe. Oh, thank you for the heads up. Sorry, I should stop.
That's crazy. So should I go skiing at Echo and it won't be an ice skating rink?
Yeah, I don't know if it's steep enough to facilitate skiing through 5 feet of snow, but
That's the point.
When I was a child in Chicago, the winter is 78, 79, we got 10 feet of snow in 24 hours. It was absolutely unbelievable. Everything was canceled, as you might imagine, for
That's
several days.
crazy.
We went and climbed up trees and sledded down them. There was so much
And
snow.
Sounds fun.
this one
That's
might
crazy.
support jumping off the deck.
Yeah.
I remember in like 90, It's probably like 93. I used to live in the Northeast. We got a blizzard. And I was probably like,
Three was a good one.
I was really little, and I just remember the snow was so deep that we like had to shovel our front door open. But then I was able to make like tunnels through the snow. And then my mom got really mad at me because she was worried the snow was gonna like collapse on me. But I think that's the most I've ever seen.
Where were you in the Northeast?
Pennsylvania.
Whereabouts?
At that point, I was in Liverpool, which is a really, really, really tiny town. One of those just like towns off the side of the highway.
But what part of the state?
It was in. I only lived there till I was in 3rd grade, so I don't know like geographically where it is.
If only there was some website we could go to.
Yeah, I wish they would get that together.
Yeah, it's called Liverpool.
Got it.
My school wasn't even in my town.
Oh, right on the Susquehanna. So 93 was big. So I used to live in Shippensburg.
Oh,
which is
yeah.
Probably an hour and 20 minutes from there, something like that, hour and a half.
Yep.
2 hours. The blizzard of 96, I was down there for that, and that was the year that the mayor of Harrisburg had the bright idea to push all of the excess snow out onto the Susquehanna River. And then, like, first week of March, the temperature went from 10 to 50, flooded Harrisburg up to 3rd Street.
I actually lived in Harrisburg in 96.
No doubt.
Because we moved from Liverpool to Harrisburg, and my mom lived in Harrisburg until I was probably 5 years ago.
Oh, no doubt.
So I am very familiar with how horrible the elected officials in Harrisburg have been. Thank you.
So Chris, can you refresh me on the order that we're doing tonight? Are we doing Alyssa first and then Tim?
Well, you know, that's what I just proposed was Tim and then Alyssa, but does it make more sense for Alyssa to start and then Tim to go? Because we'll probably have more COVID related questions. Okay.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Alyssa, you good with that?
Yeah, and just so you know, I took a bunch of my slides out. So I think I probably can get it done really quickly.
Okay.
And I really am just going to do very quick slides and then very quickly talk about the survey and show the image of the envelope, and that's it.
Why, you think we're going to get questions about vaccinations or something?
I'm not anticipating any.
Me neither.
Any questions? Okay, cool. Let's see, what was I going to say? Oh, Tim, are you going to have a presentation also?
I have 48 slides. No, yeah, I do. I have 11 slides.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see what's happening on Facebook.
Lots of misinformation.
Chris, when was our first town hall? October or before that?
Yeah, it was.
October.
Yeah, the first one was October, and then the next one will be April 8th.
Oh my gosh.
This
Oh
is
my
our 6th one.
Is that somebody's birthday?
That is somebody's birthday. It's a big birthday, and I may have you doing it, Chris.
All righty. If you're going to be celebrating.
I'm not going anywhere, so.
No problem.
Was gonna take like an amazing trip with a friend, and now he can't do it. And that
To a
would've been awesome.
tropical island?
Yes. To the Galapagos.
Nice.
I've always wanted to go.
So
wanna-
cool. That
So
would
we
be,
are live on Facebook now.
all right. Let's see.
Oh, we've been live on Facebook. All of this has been recorded for posterity,
Oh my gosh.
or possibly for some other purpose.
Okay. Not.
Oh, just so you guys know, at about 6:50, I'm gonna turn my camera off because I'm gonna be in the car. Our dog has class at 7, so. Hope she has her big test today. Cross your fingers she passes.
She will. Okay. Need a page. I gotta get back to Facebook.
I wonder if people are having a hard time getting in because we only have 4 attendees so far.
Maybe we've lost our appeal now that we're on the news as often as we are.
The fame is working against you.
We have 18 people on Facebook. 19.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. I show that it's 6 o'clock. So welcome everybody to our 6th Clear Creek County virtual COVID-19 town hall. We are happy to provide an update to you of everything that's going on in Clear Creek County in response to COVID. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to first hear from Melissa Dinberg, who is our county recovery coordinator. She's going to give an update on our spending to date and where those funds have gone within the county. Then we're going to change over to Dr. Tim Ryan, our public health director, and he will give you an update on everything related to COVID, contact tracing, case numbers, vaccinations, testing. And then we'll move on to our question and answer session where you can type into the chat feature any questions that you've got and we will answer those. So with that, we also have on board our team tonight, we have Chris Kraus, our public information officer for COVID. We also have John Bottomley, who manages our IT department, and he is running everything behind the scenes. So thank you everyone for being here. And now I will turn it over to Alyssa to give us an update on funding.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Suzanne. All right, let me get my screen back. All right, so this is just intended to give a brief overview of where we are as a county, as well as where some of the dollars that we have received have gone. So I wanted to briefly start with our unemployment numbers in the county. This is comparing 2020 for Colorado, the United States, and Clear Creek County. That solid brown line is Clear Creek County. That orange line is the United States, and the red line is Colorado. So as you can see, Clear Creek County remains at the top in most of the lines, or most of the areas. I did put vertical lines in here to show where we changed opening levels. So as you can see right here on March 25th, 2020 is when the economy completely closed. We shut down everything. And then we opened back up here on 6/18. And then further on in the year is when we started with the color coordination. So yellow, orange, red, we are now in blue. This is only through the end of December. Here are unemployment numbers for 2018, 2019, and 2020 for Clear Creek County. As you can see, 2020 is significantly higher than 2019 and 2018. Skip that one. Municipal sales tax, this is not a comprehensive view of everything, but I did just want to quickly show that municipal sales tax and county sales tax has not taken as big of a hit as we thought it would. We think a lot of this has to do with online sales, grocery store sales, as well as cannabis and liquor store sales. The county, as well as the municipalities, are doing a deeper dive into sales tax right now. And I believe in April, the county will be giving a presentation that does a deeper dive into what retail and restaurant sales tax looks like. And then again, this just shows cannabis and liquor sales, not as high as I actually anticipated. The blue solid line is 2020. The yellow dotted line is 2019. We anticipated the 2020 numbers to be significantly higher, but they were not. All right, moving into COVID funding. This shows where we received funds and how much we received. So as you can see on here, Coronavirus Relief Fund, we actually received 2 allocations for this. So the first allocation was based on our population size. So it was at 831,000. The second allocation was funding that we applied for. So we were able to apply to the state to secure additional funding. All right, I wanted to do a little bit of a deep dive into the specific funding sources. So the Coronavirus Relief Fund, this is the breakdown of each thing that we have spent money on. Please note that this is not completely comprehensive, as the deadline has been extended to 2021 to spend those dollars. So we do have additional dollars that have not been spent or have been spent after December 2020. So this is just 2020 money that was spent. Each municipality was allocated their own portion of dollars to be able to pay for COVID items that they had to pay for. Every municipality, with the exception of Empire, gave that money back to the consensus bucket in order to be able to fund more business grants. The town of Empire did have some expenses that they wanted reimbursed, and so that's why Empire is the only municipality that's listed on here. We did hire significant staff, myself included, to be able to help with the pandemic. And so in the Coronavirus Relief Fund, we had 3 positions that were funded through this, at least partially. So my position, we had a consumer protection specialist who's been working with our businesses, and then a COVID call taker who has been extremely helpful in answering the phone line, helping people get appointments for testing, helping people make appointments for vaccines. All right, business toolkits. This is something that was funded by the Coronavirus Relief Fund. We probably have a lot of business owners that are listening right now, so you probably received one. Inside of that business toolkit, you got 1 gallon of hand sanitizer made by Tommyknockers, social distancing floor stickers, disposable masks, thermometers, and educational information. On the right, you can see how those business toolkits were distributed to the businesses in the towns. I do want to note that we still have some toolkits available. And so if you're a business in the community, it doesn't matter what kind of business, you can be a lawyer's office or real estate, whatever kind of business you are, we want to be able to give you a toolkit. And so feel free to reach out to myself or Rebecca Abrahamson, and we will get you one of these toolkits free of charge. Similar to the business toolkits, we had individual toolkits. These went out to individuals in our community that were in most need. Similar things in the toolkit, obviously not a gallon of hand sanitizer. I don't think any of us could use a gallon of hand sanitizer in a decent amount of time. And then on the right is the distribution methods. And so these are some of the organizations that we worked with in the community to get these toolkits out to residents in the community. I do want to note that if you are in need of face masks, we do have some face masks available. And so if you're a resident in the community and you need access to those, please let me know. We can get you some masks. All right, moving into our individual support grant. This is a program that we've created to be able to help individuals in our community who've been impacted by the pandemic. And so these grants are being run through the Grand Foundation. They're processing them, and they pay for rent, mortgage, transportation, utilities that are not covered by state programs, so things like internet and gas bills, and mental health support. So this chart here shows when applications have been received by week. And what I was trying to see with this chart is when we move into level red and the restaurants had to close completely, what does it look like for the individual support grant application number? And so you can clearly see a spike in application number based on when we went into red. I did do these through February 19th, 2021. Our application numbers have dropped off significantly. So if you know somebody in the community that's in need, we do have money left. Please encourage them to apply, and we are happy to help them. Here's the individual support grants based on location. On the left is applications received, and on the right is funded applications. I do want to note that we have significantly more applications than funded applications. And the reason being is that some individuals just did not follow through with the entire process. There is some documentation that needs to be provided. And so that is why not everybody was funded. We did not deny anybody that needed funding and had the proper documentation to support it. All right, so these are the categories that this individual grant will support. So rental assistance and mortgage assistance, clearly that is the biggest need in our community right now. It will remain the biggest need in the community, and that is not surprising at all. Water and sewer bill, gas bill, and internet bill are all about the same, and then transportation. There are a few things on here that are not listed because we did not have any applications apply for them and receive funding. And they have since been removed. Well, one of them has since been removed from the application due to conversations with the school district, and that is pre-K. But we are still able to help with childcare as well as mental health support. And so if you feel like you are struggling due to mental health, but you don't have the funds to pay for it, we are happy to pay for that. All right, moving into the business grant. As everybody knows, we did a pretty significant business grant program, probably one of the biggest in the county or in the state, and we're very proud about that. Here's the business grant broken up by industry. So to no surprise, restaurants absolutely had the most grants awarded to them. They were probably impacted the most. Then retail, then personal services, then recreation, then civic institutions, and then lodging. And the numbers associated with each color are how many grants that were awarded to each industry. All right, business grant by town. So I've broken this up, how much money has gone to each town. You'll see at the top right, the total grants awarded were 76. I do want to note that there were 2 rounds of grant applications for this. And so there were some businesses that did apply for the second round that received funding in the first round. And so it's 76 total grants, not 76 businesses. All right, outside funding sources. One of the things that we required businesses to provide to us when they applied for the grant is whether they received PPP, EIDL, or Energize Colorado. So these are outside funding sources that played into their eligibility. And so of what was reported from the businesses when they applied, over $9 million was secured, which is fantastic. That's amazing. We're really, really supportive of everyone going after every dollar that they can to help them stay open. I do want to note that the EIDL grant, that is a loan, and a lot of our businesses are actually holding on to that loan and not using it because they can pay it back. And so a lot of them are just holding on to it. If they absolutely need it, they'll use it, but they have every intention of paying it back so that they don't have to pay any interest on it. All right, I think that is all I have for the funding sources. The only other thing that I wanted to mention is that we are launching a COVID community impact survey, and that's going to be launched this coming Monday. You may have seen some things on Facebook. It's going to be a very, very short survey. It's only about 20 questions, 2 pages. And the reason that we're doing this is because we want to know how to spend the remaining dollars that we have. We want to know where the impact in the community is and how to best use those dollars to best impact the community. And so every household in the county is going to receive an envelope mailed to them. Inside that envelope is going to be the 2-page survey. We're asking you to please not throw that survey up. I'm going to show a picture of what that envelope looks like. Please don't throw the envelope away, and please take the survey. There's actually 3 ways that you can take the survey. One is through this physical envelope. It will come with a pre-addressed return envelope to mail it back. The second way is online. We'll have a link for you to take it online if you choose that way. And then the third way is over the phone. So we'll have a phone number that you can actually talk to a real live person and answer the questions that way. The survey is going to be open for a month, and we're really hoping to get some really good involvement from the community. And so please, 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 I encourage you to take the survey. It's going to really help a lot, not only now, but also long-term future for the county. This is what the envelope looks like. I believe that they are being mailed out at the end of this week. And so it should hit your mailboxes fairly soon. I think that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Alyssa. I look forward to getting a lot of feedback from that survey to see how we can even more serve the community. So now we will turn over to our Public Health Director, Dr. Tim Ryan, for a COVID update. And again, continue to type your questions into our chat features, and we will start to answer those when Tim is concluded with his presentation. Go ahead, Tim.
Hey, Tim, you're muted.
Thank you. How do I make this full screen? Well, is that full screen?
Yep, and then go up to the top where it says display settings. And then duplicate slideshow, I think.
How's that?
Yep, there you go.
Perfect. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for taking your time to join us for our 6th monthly town hall. Trying to provide you with as much insight and update on COVID in our county as we can. So as Susan said, please enter your questions. We will try to get to everyone throughout the next half an hour or so. Let's start with the US trend. Right now across the country, we're experiencing here on the far right, you see this giant slope downward. This is continuing. We did see a slight increase over the last couple of weeks, and then now a continuation of that decline. However, if you look at this, we're still at above 50,000 cases per day, well above the high points just this last summer. So the case count, although declining, is still far too high across the entire country. Some states are doing significantly well, and others continue to struggle with that. Similarly, the hospitalizations and fatalities are following a similar trend. Both of those significantly decreasing over the last several weeks as well. But right now we are still experiencing about 60,000, 50 to 60,000 cases a day, which is, again, just far too high. Here in Colorado, we have seen a similar trend. Here in this graph, you see we over to the far right here in March, we saw a significant decrease over January, February. And then over the last couple of weeks, actually, we had a slight increase and then a plateau. It's now continuing in a downward trend, although that's only a week's worth of data there at the end. So we will have to see what happens in the coming weeks. This is a slide presented by the Colorado School of Public Health and the modeling team that's working on this. Right now, they estimate that 1 in every 354 Coloradans are infectious. However, this number is broad across the state. In some counties, that number is significantly lower, and in some cases, it's actually significantly higher. So it's not, that's sort of an average across the entire state. Right now, our prevalence is below the April 2020 peak that we experienced last April. And you see this decline here to the right-hand side. So right now, again, if Colorado remains in the current trajectory, the infection prevalence will reach a summer low at 85 per 100,000 sometime in late April. The purple is the previous modeling that was done. This brown, light yellow or color is the projected going on into the future. These scenarios, however, assume that a continued vaccination distribution will happen and there is no further spread of the B.1.1.7 variant or the UK variant. And right now in Colorado, we have confirmed cases of both the UK variant, the B.1.1.7, and the South African variant. Both of those far more transmissible than the original virus. And so the state has an active surveillance system that they're collecting samples on a daily basis and looking out for these different variants just to keep track of them and make sure that they don't get out of control. But this is really the wild card in the whole scenario and the whole modeling. We have a firm handle on the vaccination part of it. It's these variants that are the wild card, and they can easily, as we saw in UK several months ago, they can spike quite quickly without warning, and over several weeks, we could be right back where we started. So definitely keeping an eye on those. Right now, approximately 22% of the people in Colorado are immune to SARS-CoV-2 as of 3/8. The yellow line here is the number of vaccines that have been distributed so far. So almost 10% of Coloradans have been vaccinated with at least one vaccine or one dose of the vaccine. And this turquoise line up here is a combination of both individuals who have been vaccinated and or have had a prior infection. Assuming in this model that individuals with symptomatic COVID have a 12-month immunity, and individuals with asymptomatic have a 6-month immunity. Now that's an assumption that they're using in the model. So roughly 22% of Coloradans. Here in Clear Creek County, these are our numbers as of this afternoon. Our 2-week cumulative incident rate is at 143 per 100,000, so an actual increase over the last several weeks. We had 5 cases over the last week and 14 over the last 2 weeks. Our test positivity rate is around 5% for the 1-week average, and then 4.4 for the 2-week. As far as testing is concerned, we have had testing over the last several weeks reinstated after a brief hiatus. We have community testing in Idaho Spring every Tuesday from 10 to 2. There's no registration required, just show up. They have 2 options available, a saliva test and or a nasal test. We're preferring the saliva test in that we get the results 24 hours faster than we would the nasal swab. So same level of accuracy, just quicker turnaround time with the saliva test. In addition, we've reinstated testing in our jail and our school system starting next week. That will also include not only teachers and staff, but students are now able to get tested in the school with their parents' permission on a weekly basis. And as of this afternoon, I am proud to say that all of our teachers and staff have been vaccinated across the entire county, those who wanted to get vaccinated. So very happy to report that as of this afternoon. In terms of vaccinations, my staff has vaccinated folks 6 out of the last 8 days. We have vaccinated 4,355 vaccines we've distributed over the last several months. A good portion of those were over the last 8 days. Over the weekend, we did 1,500 doses of the Johnson & Johnson. And yesterday, we did almost 600 individuals with the Moderna vaccine. So again, we've administered 4,355 vaccines to date. Right now, the state is receiving roughly 217,000 doses a week. That includes the Pfizer and Moderna and the new Johnson & Johnson vaccine. The federal government has reported that they will start seeing a significant uptick in that number as in the next probably 4 to 6 weeks, we will see a more than doubling of that number. So now in excess or soon to be in excess of 400,000 vaccines on a weekly basis that will be pouring into Colorado. So right now, some of the key messages: the effective reproductive number remains below 1 at 0.73. We always want to be below 1, and the further below 1 we are, the better. However, and in addition, transmission control has increased to 82%. What does that mean? That means that basically all of the measures that have been in place, the mask mandate, limited seating at restaurants, all of those sorts of things have resulted in roughly an 82% in control of the vaccine, or I'm sorry, of the virus, transmission of the virus. The higher this number, 82%, the better. We were fluctuating between 70 and 80% for many, many months. So now it's good to see that it's now above 80%. The estimated current infection prevalence, as I said, is 1 in 354. It has declined since last week. The benefits of vaccine continue to be realized. As I stated earlier, 22% of Coloradans are currently immune due to vaccination and/or prior infection, and that number grows every week with additional vaccines. If Colorado remains on the current trajectory, statewide hospital demand and infection prevalence will continue to decline, and the infection prevalence will be comparable to last summer by late April, is what the current models show from the Colorado School of Public Health. However, the continued growth of the B117, as I said, the UK variant, and the discovery of the B1351, you don't have to remember those numbers. This is the South African variant, are cause for concern. As I said, both of those are present in Colorado, and the state has an active surveillance system out, collecting samples on a weekly basis to keep track of those. However, transmission control measures, rapid vaccine rollout, and high vaccine uptake will be important in preventing deaths and increase in hospitalizations in consideration of these variants that we have here in Colorado. So as long as we can keep those suppressed and vaccinate folks quick enough, those variants will not be able to get out of control. Infections appear to be increasing in some of the mountain regions, due primarily to tourists who are coming in from other states, particularly ones that have now lax guidance in that state and any sort of mandates. So they're bringing the virus with them, and a number of the mountain communities are struggling to keep their incident rate down to a manageable level. The other caveat is that spring break is starting now in the next several weeks. And so we're anticipating seeing a significant uptick in the number of individuals coming to the state, in addition to the number of viruses they bring with them. So it's going to be absolutely critical for the next several weeks. Once we get past spring break, at least for everyone to be absolutely vigilant, particularly restaurants. And now that we are in blue and more or less almost 100% open as far as restaurant capacity is concerned, it's going to remain the responsibility of the restaurant management to make sure that they are minimizing the potential for spread within their different establishments. And with that, I will take questions.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Appreciate that. Our first few questions have to do with how to sign up or figure out how to get your name on a list to get a vaccine within Clear Creek County. So there's kind of two questions related to that. One is asking about if we have, how can they kind of find out if we have any extra doses for those who are not in the current eligibility levels? And the other is simply, what do I do as far as signing up?
Good questions. Right now, our system is either through the Facebook link and or on our county website on the COVID page. There is a scheduling link. We learn, and this hasn't changed yet, we still don't know how many vaccines we're going to get week to week. The state is trying to work on that. It's obviously dependent on the distribution from the federal government. And they have promised that in the very near future, we will be able to at least know a week or two in advance how many vaccines we're going to get so we can plan accordingly. But for the time being, we still don't know, for instance, next week, how many vaccines, if any, we're going to actually receive. So we currently don't plan any clinics for next week until we find out how many vaccines we're actually going to receive. So we don't know that until Friday night or Sunday night. How many we're going to receive. And at that point, we schedule the clinic, given the number of doses we have and then the number of spots. The Moderna vaccine, prior to this week and last week, we were able to actually get additional doses out of the vial. Moderna has subsequently learned their financial lesson, and we are no longer able to get that additional dose out of the vial. Just as an example, out of 60 vials yesterday, we got 2 extra doses. So we don't really have extra doses like we did in the past, where we would end a day and we'd have 4, 5, 6, 7 doses additional than what we anticipated. I think those days are gone. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine, we were unable to get any additional vaccines out of all 1,500. In those vials, we weren't able to get a single extra dose. So the days of extra doses are really, I think, a thing of the past. And I think what's going to be changing here, as I stated a bit ago, is the floodgates are opening in terms of vaccines. President Biden stated just today, by the end of May, every American who is eligible, meaning they're over 18, who wants a vaccine will be receiving one. That says to me, in the coming months, we're going to see hundreds of millions of doses descend upon every single state in this union. So there will be plenty of vaccine to go around. Right now, our emphasis is trying to get to the businesses, those folks in the restaurant industry, for instance, and those folks who are really on the front line and interacting with a number of patrons who come in and they're not wearing masks because they're there to eat, et cetera. We're really trying to focus on those folks and focus on individuals who are 60 plus, the 1B.3 category, and really try to get as many of those folks vaccinated as quick as we can. But again, it's really dependent on the doses that we receive week to week. Alyssa?
Yeah, just really quick on the businesses getting their employees vaccinated. I sent an email out this afternoon to every business I have on my list. If you did not receive that email, please let me know. Put it in the chat, or if you have my contact information, please get in contact with me so that we can get you not only on our list of businesses, but we can get you that Google form.
Okay, thank you. I want to expand, Tim, a little bit on what you said in relation to, there's a couple questions here from folks about if we're under 50, how do we sign up? So what you remember early on is Clear Creek County, we were using kind of a two-step system, if you will, to provide your information to us via a Google form. And then we would send out an email to everybody to get them to have you self-sign up. What we're doing now, I'm going to share my screen real quick. What we're doing now is, hold on a minute, let me move this out of the way. What we're doing now, sorry, is using this, we're using the state's system called Prep Mod. You can see the URL up at the top. It's COMASSVAX.org. That is where you go to, if you see the bottom button here, pre-registration sign up. Go ahead and click this. If you live in Clear Creek County, click on this and sign up. Essentially, it asks you for some basic information, your name, your address, and which county you live in, and it'll ask you for your date of birth. And so that information does come to us in order, so that helps us understand how many people are looking within Clear Creek County for vaccinations. So it's a two-step process with this as well. If you pre-register here, that just gives you essentially, it allows you to look within the website of where clinics might be coming up statewide. So this is what we're doing right now. So I would encourage anyone in Clear Creek, you can sign up or pre-register, excuse me, you can pre-register at any age, and we'd love to encourage everyone in Clear Creek County to do that, so we have an understanding of how many folks within the county we still need to reach. And I would like to emphasize what Dr. Ryan said about really right now, we're trying to get, age 60 and above, trying to get those vaccinated because of the higher risk. So I'd like you to do that, and we'll put that up on our website. We have part of this link up on our website. It was specific to the clinic we just had. So as Tim said, once we learn when we're going to get vaccines and how many, this is where we're going to be able to create clinics. And so this is going to be the best way for you to tell your, excuse me, let me stop sharing so I can talk to you. That'll be the best way for us to receive your information. So we also still have our COVID health line that if you don't have internet access, or if you just don't have great Wi-Fi at your house, like we know a lot of folks within Clear Creek County have that issue, you can call us. I'm trying to get that number popping up. It is 303, hold on, come on. It is, the call-in line is 303-670-7528. Again, that's if you can't access the site for some reason, or if you need, if you don't have great internet access or Wi-Fi. So we have that option as well. All right, let's move on to some more of these questions. This one is from Facebook, so I will read this one out, and Tim, it's for you. The question is I see the reporting of the nationwide vaccine rates. Is there a central database that shows who has gotten the vaccine that you have to enter data into? Or is it just generic reporting on how many vaccines were administered? Curious how the figures are being determined and what data is actually being collected.
Yeah, couple points. First, around vaccines, in addition to our efforts at the public health, the Safeway in Idaho Springs is independently receiving vaccines. We don't know when they receive vaccines, but you can also go on the Safeway webpage and find a clinic at one of the Safeway pharmacies, both in Idaho Springs and the one in Evergreen, are receiving vaccines independently of us. So I know they've received several hundred over the last several months. I'm sure that will pick up just like everybody else in the coming months. So when you get vaccinated, you have to fill out a form. It's also part of the website. We ask you to fill it out, print it out, and bring it to the clinic. When you turn that in, we use that information that's on there. We enter that into the state system. That's how the state knows how many vaccines have been disseminated, where they've been disseminated, and to whom they've been disseminated in terms of your age and where you live and all that sort of stuff. And that's really where they get all of that information from. It's how they keep track of how many vaccines have come in and how many have actually gone out and are in arms. They know on any given day how many have been given to and put in arms, and how many are sitting in your refrigerator or freezer in any one location. That's also how they determine each week how many vaccines they're going to give you for the next week. If they see you're sitting on 30,000 vaccines, clearly you're not going to get any more. Right now we're sitting on 0. So we're hoping that next week we do get that shipment so that we can have a clinic.
Unmute myself, thank you. There's a question related to the 50 plus age group. Do you think that will still happen around the 21st of March? How long do you think the vaccines will protect an individual?
Good questions. The first question, the answer is, I really don't know. The governor could come out tomorrow and say, we're going to move the needle again down to 1B4. We get literally a 2-hour notice now of that. I know when they rolled it out for 70-year-olds, we were given no notice at all. So the 2-hour notice is excellent. It's likely, given what I stated earlier, if we do continue to see a significant increase in the next 2 to 3 weeks, that the governor moves that needle. It's all dependent on, and to my point just a minute ago, the governor looks at the numbers almost every day and every week in terms of how many people have been vaccinated in this group or this group or this group. And when they reach a certain threshold within each group, 70% or whatever his magic number is, that's when he decides that the next day or the next several days, he's going to move to the next group. So it's really dependent on that number. I don't have any insight into what is happening more broadly in the state. in terms of that. And that's really what drives what the governor does. So it's possible in the next several weeks that that needle's going to go down to the 50 and above. I'm hopeful if we continue to receive vaccines like we have in the last 2 weeks. I think we'll get there in a very timely manner. As far as how long does the vaccine provide immunity for? Great question. One for which, I don't know why my lights keep going out. One for which we are still getting answers to, right? The folks in all of the clinical trials in the Moderna and the Pfizer and Janssen, they're still following those individuals. And they're doing titers to see if they still have an antibody response related to the vaccine. So that answer is yet to have or that question has yet to have a real answer, one that's fact-based anyway. Current estimates are anywhere from 6 months to a year. We do know that the vaccines are far more protective against the new variants than, say, a prior diagnosis of COVID. A prior diagnosis of COVID does not necessarily protect you from some of the variants like the UK variant and the South African variant. And so it's very important if you've had COVID previously months ago, it's important to get the vaccine because it will provide you additional protection against these additional variants.
Okay, thank you, Tim. I wanted to share a comment before we get to the next question. This comment says, just wanted to share that we've been very happy about the vaccination procedure in our county. Thank you all so much for your hard work planning. For all the personnel and staff at the vaccination sites and how hard you have tried to keep us all informed. Great job. Love living in Clear Creek County. Thank you very much for those. We work hard to try to get the vaccination sites in working order and efficient. And that leads to our next question. We know we had some hiccups yesterday on Wednesday. So that question is, what happened this past Wednesday that some appointments had to be canceled? Tim, do you want to take it? I'm happy to take it if you want.
I would love to take it.
All right, go.
So as you're probably aware, we recently switched from the system we were using before, which was very time intensive and labor intensive on our part in terms of keeping track of the Google form and making sure those appointments met the list that we had. And so at the insistence and encouragement of the state, we moved over to the PrepMod system that Suzanne just showed you. The challenge with the PrepMod system, it's significantly less work for my team, both on the front end and also on the back end in terms of data entry. Because when you get vaccinated and you hand us that sheet, that information needs to be entered into the state system. And yesterday, for instance, we did almost 600 individuals. So entering 600 individuals' information into a system is a lot of work. So the PrepMod system really reduces that amount of work significantly. What happened yesterday was on a Tuesday, we saw a significant number of folks who were under 60 with underlying health conditions. And what we did was we tried to cancel 100 of their appointments to make room for 100 individuals who were over 60. Well, what ended up happening was we canceled them, but the email through the system wasn't sent to those individuals. So those 100 individuals who were canceled showed up, and we didn't know that they didn't get the email until literally they were in line to get vaccinated. It was at that point we decided there was no reasonable way to get all 100 of those individuals identified and all of those individuals removed from the line. So we made the executive decision at that point to cancel the afternoon appointments for folks who weren't there yet, and trying to logistically minimize the mess. We've learned lots of valuable lessons yesterday that we hope to never repeat moving forward. And so we're going to try to make it abundantly clear to folks in specific clinics that this is 60 years of age and older. And if you register for this clinic and you're not 60, your appointment will be canceled. And if you show up, that's on you, because it clearly will state in the description that this is for 60 years and older. And so the lesson learned is we won't be canceling appointments in the way that we did previously. And we're very sorry for everyone's inconvenience. That was inconvenience. I know Olivia has personally reached out to everyone on that list who was canceled, who was 60 plus. and has gotten them rescheduled and figured all that out. If you haven't been contacted, please let us know. And we will do our best to get you rescheduled if you're 60 plus, and get you rescheduled for the next clinic that we have, hopefully next week.
Okay, great. Thank you, Tim. I have a question here about if this person qualifies. The question is that they teach children in a theater class once or twice a week. Does this count as a teacher, and do I qualify for a vaccine? I was just pulling up the phases for that the state has published, and it's specific to pre-K through 12 educators and childcare workers in licensed childcare programs. So according to anyway, it does not sound like that individual would be eligible. But again, you know, if and when the governor either modifies these, if he does, or, you know, announces more eligibility, you know, stay tuned for that. But as Tim mentioned, you know, we really want to get our older population vaccinated. And so continue to hang on and wait. I know it might be frustrating, but more vaccine is coming. So thank you all for your patience with that. I do want to mention, even though we had that hiccup yesterday with the state site, the folks that were there that we had to unfortunately turn down and turn away for vaccines, you know, the vast majority of folks, you were really understanding. So thank you for that. There was no other logistical efficient way for us to do it. So thank you for being understanding and recognizing that more vaccines will come. So it will just take a little bit longer. Let me go to the next question. The next question, Tim, is this person's mother had her first Moderna shot in Montrose, but is not in Montrose anymore, is here in Clear Creek County. How do I get her second shot?
Good question. The challenge with that is our second doses that we receive are for the first doses. So 4 weeks ago, we vaccinated 300 people. We only received 300 doses this week, just as an example. So, and as I stated, there really aren't any additional doses anymore in the Moderna vials that we're able to draw out. So I would have you contact us, and we'll try to figure something out for you. If your mom is now a permanent resident here in Clear Creek County and staying with you, give us a call and we'll try to figure something out and get her her second dose. When is she due for her second dose? If you don't, you're on mute, Susan.
I'm trying to not have background noise. Sorry about that. February 3rd is when she got her first.
Oh, so she should be getting her, she should have already gotten her second. February, March, this is March 11th. Yeah, give us a call tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. And this has been answered, but it's a very positive thing. I want you to be able to answer it again. The question is, what percentage of school staff have been vaccinated?
100% of those who wanted it, which is almost 100%. So.
Excellent, thank you. There we go.
And that includes bus drivers and cafeteria and teachers and the principal, superintendent, everyone who wanted it in the school district.
I am looking for our next question here. I am not seeing any other questions. I can't believe we've answered all the questions that are out there. So if anyone has some questions, just go ahead and type them in and we can get to them. We will stand by for a few questions, and if not, we will conclude, but we'll wait a couple minutes or a couple seconds, excuse me.
I just want to take this opportunity to first and foremost thank my staff for an incredible last 8 days. The level of cooperation and professionalism and just sheer mountain grit, I guess you can call it, and getting as many folks as we did vaccinated with smiles on our faces. My hat's off to all of you. You've been unbelievably unbelievable in what you've accomplished over the last 8 days. It's been awesome to be a part of and be the leader of. But it's been awesome to be a part of it. I also want to thank the broader community for all that you are doing. I know every single one of us has been making sacrifices since the first day. And there is light at the end of the tunnel, let me say that. What it's going to require, though, for us to get out of that tunnel and to fully see the light, even though you've been vaccinated, please continue to wear your mask. The combination of a mask and a vaccine is almost 100%. It's impenetrable, those two combined. And the vaccine protects you, but it does not protect those around you. So until we can get the majority of folks vaccinated in this county and in this state and in this country, it's incumbent upon all of us to continue to wear our masks. You know, the businesses say we want to be open and continue to be open. The best way to do that is to get a vaccine and continue to wear your mask. It will get us out of that tunnel quicker than anything else. And so I'm asking all of you to continue making these sacrifices just for a little while longer. Continue to wear your mask, continue to socially distance. Some folks have asked, what can we do now that we've been vaccinated? As the CDC and following the CDC's guidance, if you and your spouse have been vaccinated, just as an example, and you want to have another couple over who have been fully vaccinated, it's in those scenarios that you can have 4 or 6 people who are fully vaccinated a dinner and share a meal and break bread again. That is now possible. We would not, however, encourage you to have that with individuals who have not been vaccinated, fully vaccinated. It's just putting them too much at risk. Even though you're vaccinated, you could potentially still be a carrier, meaning you've been exposed. It's not impacting you because you have antibody response going on, but you're still a carrier and you can give it to somebody, for instance, at a dinner party when they're sitting across the table from you. So it's incumbent upon all of us who've been vaccinated to continue set that precedent and be a role model for everyone else to continue, even though you've been vaccinated, continue to do what you've been doing. And there is light at the end of this tunnel.
Thanks, Tim. I do have one more question. So last call for any additional questions. Go ahead and type them in. This question is, they got on a little bit late, so it might be repetitive, so they apologize for this, but they ask, when do you anticipate being able to vaccinate all adults?
That's a great question. The best answer I can give to you is the very, very near future, meaning what we're hearing from the federal government, not just what President Biden says in his press releases, but we're really hearing behind the scenes from HHS and the CDC and the folks who are really moving pieces around. The floodgates are beginning to open. The Janssen vaccine, just as an example, there's going to be 3 different companies making the Janssen vaccine, which is almost unprecedented in American history, that other companies are making other companies' vaccines. So Janssen will be made by Merck, Janssen, and then a third company. So that vaccine alone, they could produce north of 1 billion a year. And in addition, Pfizer and Moderna are both on target to deliver their 100 million doses by the end of March. That's the contractual agreement they're under. They both are online to meet that target. And in addition, the federal government has bought additional doses beyond that 100 million. So according to the federal government, sometime by the end of May, maybe in the beginning of June, realistically, everyone in this country who wants a vaccine will have received one.
Okay, and I do not see any more questions. I do have one final comment that, 2 final comments now that I'd like to share. One is that Dr. Ryan is our Santa Claus and his elves are fantastic. And the final one, thank you for your response. Vaccine personnel have been amazing. Much gratitude to all of them. So thank you for those comments. We appreciate the support. This community has been absolutely amazing with our vaccination sites. So thank you. I don't see any more questions. So we will have our next town hall. It's scheduled for April 8th in the evening, 6 o'clock. And so we will see you then, I hope. And that is all we have for tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.